Things have been getting pretty crazy. I will tell you that. And you've got a lot of new people coming into politics and coming into like the space, and really they're quite extreme. And very different than what we've had before.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to inform you that the rumors are indeed true. The Democrats have struck back. In the New Jersey governor's race, the Democrat won. In the Virginia governor's race, the Democrat won. And in the New York City race, Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani defeated Andrew Cuomo to become the next mayor of America's largest city. But the question on everyone's mind is, was it just a fluke? Just easy wins in blue cities and states? Or is there something more to this?
Both, I think.
Is this a sign of things to come? Is the Democratic Party finally turning their losing streak around? Are they actually listening to the people now? Did they finally learn their lesson?
No, absolutely not. I think that what happens is that people vote for the other political party to change things from the way that they are, and then they get worse. And then people vote for the other political party to change things from the way that they are, and then they get worse. And then people vote for the other political party to change things from the way they are, and then things get worse. And that's happened for like 50 years.
No. Thanks for watching.
All right, that's it.
My last 3 videos about electoral politics were warning the Democratic Party that young men were moving right because the party f***ing sucks and was becoming the young men eat and die movement. Spanking the Democratic Party for losing because they elected one of the most unlikable, shittiest candidates while offering absolutely nothing to voters. And defending the voters from the wrath of a bunch of liberal streamer man-children calling the voters stupid and evil for daring not to vote for Hillary Clinton and brownface. But the thesis for all 3 of those videos was basically the same. As the right embraces working class populism, the Democratic Party and the left will continue to fade into irrelevancy. But as I also predicted in those last videos, there might be an eventual pendulum swing, and it might be happening much sooner than I predicted. Like, how did we go from Republicans winning the popular vote, in part thanks to a lot of the young people voting, to a bunch of data showing those same young people dropping their support for the GOP already? But
because they didn't say, they're not doing what they said they were going to do. That's the reason why people don't support it. It's simple. Trump said he was going to release the Epstein files. He didn't release the Epstein files. He hasn't done that. He totally changed it. Then on top of that, we're still sending money to Israel. Like, I don't think that the positions are unpopular. Like, for example, like the ICE raids are a great example of this. Why is it that there are a bunch of protesters out there that are preventing ICE from doing their job, and there are entire states that are opposing the federal government, and Trump isn't even doing anything about it? Like, cut their funding, do something, bring these people up on sedition, bring them up on some sort of abandonment of duty, like figure out some sort of way to just totally handicap these people. But and that's what I would have voted for. That's what I would want to have happen. And so people keep voting for extreme radical candidates like, you know, Donald Trump or Zohran Mamdani. And the reason why is because they want a real change. They don't want to just be, you know, oh, things are going to get better, and then they get worse. Infinitely.
Those young people don't seem to be moving to the Democratic Party either. Where are they going? And do the Democrats have a plan to scoop these people up? Yes, they do, and they called it, I'm not kidding, deciding to win. What? Deciding to win, as if the whole time they have just been simply deciding to lose. It was a choice, guys. They changed their mind and they want to win now. In this video, I will talk about why I think Zohran Mamdani won. We will go through the Democrat Party's plan to decide to win. We will briefly talk about the rise of the political commentator Nick Fuentes, the MAGA civil war, and what I like to call the inevitable rise of shoesalism. If that sounds interesting, stick around. If it doesn't, you can leave. It's not like I'll miss you or anything. Baka. I know a lot of you are not very interested in politics. You come here for the fun Reddit slop, the men versus women content. Yeah,
those
I know.
Are good.
But unfortunately, politics kind of seeps into your lives, whether you want it to or not. So you might as well be entertained when you hear about it, and have some fun with it when you can. And I just so happen to have the perfect app for that. So before we get into this political deep dive, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor. One of my favorite sponsors to work with.
News?
Ground News.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So thank you, Ground News, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping
I don't even know what
the
to
ad.
say. It's disgusting.
Right? Now, let's get back to the video.
All right.
For those of you familiar with the Shoe on Head channel, you know I've harshly criticized the Democratic Party for all my career. Some say too harshly. Frankly, I don't care. And some say I'm not harsh enough on the Republicans. First of all, true, but let's be honest. That's not why you come here. You go to Kyle
Is that
Kulinski
a white
for
monster?
that. Just like you go to Destiny to see opinions you can hear on CNN, or to Hassan for dog training tips.
Oh, wow.
You come here to hear, golly gee willikers, I'm left wing, and the Democrats have gone crazy. That's the shit you're here for. But are the Democrats actually getting their shit together? Or did they simply get lucky in a few blue areas? One of those blue
Well, no, I mean, not at all. I mean, Zoran Mandami isn't really a Democrat at all. Like, he has some values that align with Democrats, but like, he doesn't align with their party in many things. It's kind of the same way as like fucking Bernie Sanders.
Where Democratic Socialist candidate Zoran Mandani won the election and will become the new mayor. And a lot of people are like really confused about how this happened. And if you're one of those people, you really need to keep watching.
Yeah.
If you don't understand why Mandani
won, idiot.
I'm sorry to say, but you're kind of like the liberals in 2016 who didn't understand why Trump won.
What?
It's actually extremely understandable why Zoran Mamdani won. And it's not just because New York is full of commies or whatever. He is objectively the best Democratic candidate that they've had in a very, very long time. Like, I know the bar is in hell there, but he's young.
I mean, Anthony Cuomo, or whatever his fucking name is, didn't he put fucking people with COVID in nursing homes? He's, what was it? The Curtis Siwa said, slapping fannies and killing grannies. Yeah, big fucking surprise. And then he says he wants to go to fucking Israel. What the fuck is going on?
Energetic, he's
what
charismatic.
The hell is this?
And people are really tired of the White House doubling as a retirement home. And of course, I like many of his economic policies. I like the universal child care thing, the transportation, flipping off the Christopher Columbus statue. That's the shit I don't like. Big fucking guy. He was a brave Italian explorer who discovered America.
He's a fucking savage, murderer, evil person, and he helped found our country, and that's our guy. We've got a statue for him. We've got a day for him. He was awful, but he's our guy. He's our guy. And thank God he was, because now we're here.
Christopher Columbus is a hero. End of story.
That's right.
I've said this many times, but I don't think the good left-wing policies can even exist alongside the bad left-wing policies.
No, they can't. Like, and this is what happened, is that after Occupy Wall Street happened and it was so popular, what ended up happening is that the Democrat Party was poisoned by special interests and billionaires in order to adopt identity politics to make sure that class consciousness would never come true. And so now you have them arguing about how many genders there are instead of arguing about whether corporations should pay 2% more tax. That's the difference. That's what's happened.
I don't know how you can have free transportation but also be soft on crime.
You can't. This is the problem. This is the issue that Democrats have, is that if you want to live in a socialist paradise, you have to take all of the people that cause problems and put them in a box. And if you do that, and then you don't invite in infinity third worlders into the country, then everything will be fine. Yeah, everything will be fine. Like, there's plenty of countries that have that, but you can't have unfettered immigration, especially from people that are not skilled, that are also displacing your workers, like with the H-1B visas. Then on top of that, you have people committing crime and they get re-released. Like, if you want to have nice things, you have to take the people that make them not nice and get rid of them.
In what world does that work out? You can't have nice, clean, free transportation if a bunch of drug addicts and violent felons are going around stabbing people and setting them on fire.
Well, the reason why you have this dissonance is because the Democrat Party is encaptured by emotion. It is a party of mentally ill white women that are constantly trying to import third worlders, impose a nanny state on everybody, and be basically everybody's mother in the entire fucking country because it will satisfy the suicidal empathy. That's what's going to happen. And these Karens are the biggest threat to the country. More than China. They're the real threat. Because China can't vote, they can't.
You can't have nice things if you don't have rules to enforce those nice things. You know what I mean? It's always such a breath of fucking fresh air when I go back to visit my family in the suburbs of Long Island and I go to the CVS and the fucking toothpaste is free from their plexiglass prisons. I shouldn't have to wait 10 minutes for some poor wagey to come unlock the cagey so I can buy fucking shampoo. We don't have to live that way. Maybe he'll do great. Or maybe he gets into power and immediately cucks to the establishment like some other people.
He's going to probably do 2 out of the 10 things that he said he was going to do. One of them will go well, one of them won't. The people that hate him will use that as an example of him being bad. The people that like him will use this as an example of the establishment suppressing him. That's what's going to happen.
I just don't know how the hell anyone thought Andrew Cuomo was going to win. He killed a bunch of grandmas during COVID.
As you admitted this week, you personally altered the state health department report to undercount the death total, to hide the death total, and then evaded and lied to these families for 5 years.
Why isn't this guy, like, in my opinion, if I said what I think should happen, I would get in trouble. And I cannot imagine not thinking that. Like,
So-
you're gonna laugh about this shit. Like, I mean, I think honestly, like, why don't we just put the guy in jail? Why don't we put him in jail with a amount of criminals that had maybe their lives fucked up because of this, and then we'll see who's laughing.
A shit ton of people. Bro, what? Plus, he doesn't even live in New York City. He doesn't live in the city he's running to be mayor of. Cuomo just kind of expected to win based on name recognition alone and being like, hey, at least I'm not the other guy. Sound familiar? Trump actually offered a vision. Make America great again. Mamdani offered a vision. A New York City you can afford. So people took a chance on him. People wanted something different. He had no vision or anything.
Very Chinese
I love tuning into a debate about New York City, and 80% of it is about another f***ing country.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant.
This is when he won the election, by the way. This right here is what won him the election.
Where would you go first?
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
I would go to Israel.
I'd make my 4th trip to Israel.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel?
Is that people saw that and they saw the way it was perceived and how he got treated after that. And they were like, you know what? This seems really weird.
I knew Zoran was going to win. Bro was just surrounded by NPCs. I love how they're like, where would you go? And Zoran was like, I'm gonna stay here. And instead of being like, no, Zoran, the question was, where would you go? They're like, why wouldn't you go to Israel? Like, that's the answer to the question. Like, that's just the default answer to that question. His win was very much in part a direct response to the affordability crisis that many Americans are facing. So what is the GOP's answer to the affordability crisis? Oh, great news, guys. There is no affordability crisis. It doesn't exist. It's all in your head, silly. Need to save money?
Well, that's, I mean, damn, okay, I didn't know that.
Simply don't buy your grandmother a Christmas present this year.
Budget, budget, budget. You need a plan. Also, remember, adults don't need gifts, okay? Focus on the people in your life who are age 3 to 18. Grandma doesn't need slippers. If they don't live by you, don't get them a gift. Now's not the time to spend and break the banks.
Nah, bro, I think, honestly, I think we should stop giving money to illegals in Israel, and we should just buy gifts for our grandparents. Yeah, I think let's get rid of let's deport every single refugee and migrant, and then we'll take all the money that we were giving them, and then we'll buy gifts for our parents. How about that? Yeah, let's do that. What a stupid what the fuck? And by the way, you know this bitch is sending her friends presents. You know she's buying her parents presents. She's not doing this. She's telling you to do this. It's a let them eat cake moment. That's what it is. It's embarrassing.
Zoran's win was also basically a direct response to the housing crisis in America. So what is the GOP's response to the pie-in-the-sky, commie gobbledygook that Zoran Mamdani is selling? Surely they have a better solution.
Yes. Here we go. The White House is floating this idea. Bill Pulte is saying,
50-year mortgages.
Trump, we can indeed work on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer.
Just what I want. To own nothing and to be happy.
How does that work in dollars? Here you go. 30-year fixed mortgage right now. You're paying $2,038 a month, principal and interest on a $400,000 home. Under 50 years, you'd save a couple $100 a month at $1,822 principal and interest. That is proposed. Do you like this idea?
I do not like this idea.
Wow, so it's $200 less, and you know now you just get to never own your house.
At the bottom.
See, like my opinion is that we start a program where you find homeless veterans and veterans that aren't able to find houses, and you train them to find illegal aliens. And if they can find an illegal alien that's living in a house, they take over the house and the illegal alien gets kicked out. Like Rust? Yeah, like Rust. Exactly. One thing that I think is kind of funny about this is that one thing that's very evident here is that there's very clearly a diminishing return. So from 30 to 40, you have a difference of, about $140, right? From 40 to 50, you only have a difference of $70. They are even exposing the fact that you are hitting the diminishing returns inside of the infographic that they're using to sell the idea. Because that's obviously how the fucking interest table is going to work. But nobody knows this because they're retarded.
Not lowering prices, not building more housing. No, just being a good little slave to the bank for 50 years. You might as well be a rentoid forever in this case. Like, at least you don't have to fix your own dishwasher. You will own nothing and be happy. Doesn't that sound great, Gen Z? Vote for us. We'll release the Epstein files and finally drain the swamp.
Yeah,
awesome.
Wow.
Finally,
good job.
Justice. Here it comes, the Epstein Files Phase 1.
Oh boy.
We got all your favorite celebs here. Don't you think that's a little tacky? I mean, like, this is an international child trap. The Epstein Files are on my desk.
Wow, okay, great.
That's great. That's what we've been waiting for.
What?
Well?
Where'd they go?
Oh, they don't exist. Wait, what? Yeah, the Epstein Files don't exist. They're a Democrat hoax.
What?
But you just said, hey.
What?
That's my wallet. Sorry, Israel needs new weapons. Bye.
Jesus. Yeah, that's the reason why people didn't support him. Like, yeah, I spent months years hearing about how Trump was going to be a dictator, how he was going to be like super authoritarian. And I feel like we got scammed, man.
What do you want, Democrat? Vote for us.
Yeah.
Why? What do you have to offer?
I'm gonna make you gay.
Hey, that's my wallet again. What are you people doing? Sorry. Israel needs new weapons. Bye. The Epstein Files are a really big deal. This is not a partisan issue. You should absolutely care about an international child trafficking blackmail operation consisting of the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah,
and anyone telling you to move on is coping, gaslighting, or in on it. If whatever is in there is so damning that it is a national security risk, the people deserve to know. Like, I don't know about you, but if we are paying taxes to a bunch of satanic pedophiles, I would like to know. That is information I would like to know. Like, I already know we're doing that, but I would like some confirmation. Okay, so literally as I am filming this, Trump is saying he is releasing the Epstein Files. So I guess they were a hoax. I'm gonna be so honest.
My dog ate him? Yeah.
I have no idea what the f is going on, you guys.
I know,
I'm
it's
sure when
ridiculous.
this video gets posted, there's already gonna be more things that have happened. Also, Mike Johnson apparently said they need to make changes to the files to make sure we, quote, don't do permanent damage to the political system.
But that was the goal! What do you mean? That's what I wanted!
If releasing the Epstein Files would do damage to the political system, then so be it. Then it deserves to be damaged. It deserves to be destroyed. Just release the files. After all, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
Yep.
Isn't that right, government?
Ooh.
But it wasn't just the Epstein Files thing that has MAGA feeling a little demoralized lately.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent.
There's nothing wrong with bringing in people that are good at their job. But the thing is that whenever you're bringing in talent, and that talent is like an entry-level coder, I think that people don't understand like how this works, because I don't think they understand the second-order effects of bringing people in under visas and the power that a company has over an individual that extends beyond a traditional employment of like an American citizen.
We've talked about this a few times on this channel, actually very recently in the male loser epidemic video. The no talented Americans thing is a myth pushed on us by corpos and billionaires. So they can—
Yeah, exactly. She's completely right.
Hire foreign workers who will work for less money and won't unionize. Worker drones who will work under the coercion of deportation, actually creating infinite scab labor. Even though there are so many Americans in these fields looking for jobs. But those spoiled Americans will ask for a living wage so they can live in a 600-foot square apartment. How dare they? We can't do that. So import 1 billion immigrants. After all, it's good for business.
Folks are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States.
If we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business.
Unfortunately, America does feel like nothing but 3 corporations in a trench coat. But America is not a business. America is not a corporation. It is a nation.
Well, here's the other problem. And so there is a big issue with like kids being educated. And the fact that a lot of kids now, like the kids in China are probably getting a better education than the kids here in America. Why is that? It's because the educational system in America is catered to the bottom 10% of people. I think the bottom 10% or 5% of people inside of schools should be removed from schools and put in trade programs. The entire idea that everybody has to graduate middle school and high school is one of the reasons why we've had to dumb down the curriculum and dumb down education in order to make every retard graduate. That's the problem. And so, like, really, and this is the issue, right? I think it's also the upbringing. Well, I don't really care about the upbringing so much. Like, yeah, some people have bad parents, but who cares about that? Like, the real issue is that, do I want to make a decision that's for the bottom 10% in their best interest? Or do I want to make a decision that's in the best interest of the top 10%? Well, it's the easiest decision of my life, right? And so that's really the main thing. The world needs ditch diggers too. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I think really inside of, like, after, like, middle school and high school, and, like, even throughout high school, we should just basically, if kids are retarded, and there's a lot of retarded kids, there's so many retarded kids, that really you just stop teaching them math. They're never going to learn math. They're never going to use algebra. This person's going to turn big rocks into little rocks for the rest of their life. So why are we wasting the government resources and time into teaching this retard algebra, right? I mean, that's it. About the 80% in the middle? Well, the 80% in the middle are, I think, really, some of that 80% is going to go to the top whenever you remove the bottom 5. Like I've said this before, if you remove the bottom 5% of troublemakers and problem people in your school, what percentage of the problems would go away? And everybody has said, every single time I've said this, like 95, 100%. So we have the entire school system that's being handicapped by the dumbest people. And that's one of the big reasons why we have stupid kids and we have less people that are able to pass tests, people that are less competent, etc., is that we have had to lower the standards to allow these animals to be in the school system. And they should have never been in the school system. And if you think they're not animals, you should have gone to a public school. They are. Absolutely they are.
Republicans embracing populism, at least rhetorically, is what gave rise to Donald Trump and fundamentally changed the way Republicans do politics in America.
Somebody says they're kids? A baby raccoon is still a raccoon. This entire idea that you can train, like, this is a liberal fantasy. This is a feel-good liberal fantasy that you can train any person to be a software engineer, that you can train anybody to be an architect, anybody to be an astronaut. That's not real. You just can't do it.
If you go back and watch the debate Donald Trump in 2016, it's crazy.
We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
Yep.
They lied.
Exactly.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
I remember being like, damn, that's not how politicians in general really talked at that time. Like, we would see it from Bernie Sanders and maybe like Ron Paul, but to get up on stage in a Republican debate in front of Republican donors saying that kind of shit was unheard of. Bro was getting booed. Trump won in 2016 by decrying the bloodlust and warmongering of the Republican Party, but also by speaking to the economic woes of the average working class American. Basically saying, I see you, to people who felt like they haven't been seen by either party in a very long time. Like, I saw people in my life, my neighbors and stuff, that were all like Obama voters, like, just flipped to Trump, and now, like, all of Long Island. Long Island is like the Florida of the Northeast, bro. It is like Trump country there now. Before Trump,
I don't even know.
My nuggies are here. My nuggies are here. 1 second. 1 second. I must go get my nuggies. It's nuggie time.
Those aren't nuggets. Those are McNuggets. I can tell by the shape that that's actually from McDonald's. Wendy's has nuggets. Chick-fil-A has nuggets. Burger King has nuggets. McDonald's does not have nuggets. They have McNuggets.
34-year-old woman, by the way.
Yeah.
Mother, by the way. Before Trump, the Democrats basically relied on talking about how the Republican Party didn't care about the working class. But eventually, the problem for Democrats was the working class didn't care about them. But now it seems like the Republican Party is going back on all of that and becoming the Bush-era neoconservative party again, right as they're winning, embracing freaks like Lindsey Graham.
So I just want to say, I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes. Trump is my favorite president. We've run out of bombs. We didn't run out of bombs in World War II.
Republicans, is that what you want your party to be? lowering taxes and killing people. To many Republicans, the
you
solution
weren't killing
to
the right
affordability crisis, wreaking havoc
Didn't drop
on
the
Americans,
bombs in the right place.
is simply trusting the free market, working hard, and if that doesn't work, they bust out all reliable.
If you're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean,
like
that
a
is a real
sombrero?
thing. Yeah, I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up, but the reality.
Yeah, you do. And if you don't, then I think it's time for you to go.
Ah, yes, the classic. Just move. Just move from Economic Zone 67 to Economic Zone 69. I don't know, man. Maybe some people actually like where they live.
My friends that grew up in my neighborhood are now priced out of my neighborhood. We grew up here. There used to be cars up on blocks here. And now we can't, besides me, and like, actually, honestly, a lot of my friends make a lot of money, but like, some of them can't. And so that's it.
Maybe they want to make their community better. This is like the libertarian version of just deal with it when you talk to leftists about crime. Like, no, we shouldn't just deal with it. We shouldn't just move.
We should deal with
Maybe
it.
we can make the cities in our country livable and safe. Maybe better things are possible, actually. My husband and I moved away from our families because of his job, and it f***ing sucks. It sucks raising kids without an extended family around. Say hi to grandma on FaceTime. Not normal. Not natural.
That sucks. It absolutely sucks dick. And the thing is also, and this is the continual decline of the family unit. Like if you have grandparents and other people in your family, that in some cases is childcare. Like I remember my dad would get left with the grandma sometimes, like my great-grandma, many times whenever he was a kid. And so like all this fits together. And so the continual degradation of that, like can you guys see kind of like how all these things fit together? And it's like really, it's not really one problem. It's like 50 problems that are interconnected.
When I was growing up, it was like aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents were just coming in and out of my house, like bringing over food, like, hey, I got some mancati. I would be babysat by my cousins and my aunts. And because we moved away, my kid won't have that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's one reason many young people are putting off having children. The complete of community, the lack of a village. If you can't afford to live where your family lives, just move to fucking Gary, Indiana, where there's nobody around and no jobs and no family and no friends, but hey, at least you can afford a house there. That's not how life should work, Ben. Maybe take a step back and try to understand. Am I doing bird hands too much? You guys have made me so insecure about the bird hands thing ever since this meme.
The fuck is a bird hand? Liberal women brings out the hand gesture. Get ready for hear the worst take of your life. I feel like you didn't even need to bring out the hand. I feel like you just say that in general.
Listen, I'm a woman, okay? We are programmed to scold children. And when no children are around, we scold people on the internet, okay?
She just revealed the Karen Global World Plan. You see that? It's a bunch of middle-aged women that don't have any fucking kids, and so instead of dealing with their kids, they're dealing with you and trying to micromanage what you say on Xbox Live. That's right.
Anyway, Nick Fuentes is a far-right commentator and a controversial figure to say the least. But his main topic he covers is Israel, which is an extremely hot topic that many other right-wing commentators seem to not want to touch.
I wonder
and the
why.
rare times they do touch it, it's them telling you not to talk about it, questioning why you care so much, or shape-shifting into the woke mob they fought.
I don't think that Israel is like this. I mean, we have like a million other problems besides Israel. Like, I don't think Israel is the devil. I don't think that people in Israel are bad. I don't think that at all. But like, at the same time, I don't want them involved in our policy decisions here. Like, it's such a reasonable position to have. I'm surprised that like everybody doesn't just immediately think this. Why does it even exist? Who cares? It's not America. It's not my problem. I don't give a fuck why Israel exists and if they exist or not. It's not my problem. Like, why am I even thinking about Israel? Like, what really? Why am I even thinking about Israel? Like, it's on the other side of the fucking world. It's not my problem.
Calling you names, calling for you to be censored. What's funny is they didn't care about any of Nick Fuentes' rants on, like, race or women.
Black people.
They only started caring when his rants on Israel were blowing up. Nick recently did an interview with Tucker Carlson, which completely ignited the MAGA civil war that was brewing on the right for some time now. It got so ridiculous that even Chuck Schumer went on the Senate floor and called for a disavowal of Nick Fuentes. Sir, with all due respect, none. Why do
everybody stop watching this podcast?
Politicians need a resolution in the Senate to disagree with a citizen? Hello, I have gathered you all here today to disavow Hitler Bussy 420. People can't afford groceries, Charles. Ben Shapiro, in particular, has spent the last few months extremely confused and angry about Zohran Mamdani and Nick Fuentes becoming popular in the mainstream, all while his numbers continue to drop. Yep. I honestly don't think he understands what is happening here, so
I wonder if Kanye is going to run next time. I think it's a matter of time.
I am going to explain to you, Ben, what exactly is going on here. The American dream does not exist anymore for most people.
Well, the reason why Nick is popular is that there are millions of disaffected young men. Like, basically, a lot of my viewers might watch Nick, but I think that many of them probably don't, because it's like usually like a lot of the guys that watch me are generally outside of that age range, right? Like, it's like we're, you know, like a lot of us are like in our 30s. But I think that teenagers and guys that are in their early 20s a lot more watch Nick. And I think the reason why is that he's part of that different generation. And my point is that, and I know that this is a Venn diagram. It's obviously a Venn diagram. But my point is that very, very clearly, like, young guys have been completely and utterly fucked inside of America. And I think this is true also inside of Europe as well, is that young guys have been systematically disenfranchised through the basis of their gender, through the basis of their race, and their nationality. And they've also been demonized in media. So they've had every opportunity removed from them, and then also been asked to apologize for the removal. It's outrageous. In the world that goes far, yeah, but like I'm mainly talking about the English world, right? I mean, that's about it. I don't know, I make a pretty good living. Yeah, exactly, because a lot of you guys, like, the thing is that whenever you're 23, your problems are different than a 33-year-old's, generally. I mean, this is probably true. So, like, a lot of guys that are older, well, they have all these privileges, like, you know, like, you're maybe 10 years into your career, you're farming, you're great. But, like, I'm talking about, like, people that are maybe, like, 5 years or 2 years into your career. And, like, also there's a survivorship bias to that, too.
Worked for older generations, and it got them nowhere. Young people are tired of this stale, moldy, old, dead consensus that has dominated American politics for a very long time. The one that dragged us into all these foreign wars and sold us out for some cheap plastic shit from China. Young people are tired of being told to sit down and shut up and pledge allegiance to the free market in a country that seems to not give a shit.
It's not a free market. That's the other thing, is that anybody that believes in a free market is just a professional retard. They're a professional retard. The fact is that, you know this, you play an online video game, is that the first thing you do in a free market is you close it. You close it immediately, and you start scamming people. You start setting up cartels. You start limiting distribution. You start stopping people from competing against you. And before you know it, you're making all the money. That's just the way it is.
As well as a foreign country they have absolutely no connection to. For so long, establishment hacks and establishment shills
I used to be a libertarian.
Looked at the issues bothering the people and just kind of dismissed them. Can't afford to live where you grew up? Just move. Don't like that the toothpaste is locked behind plexiglass? Just deal with it. Think it's kind of fucked up how you work 40 hours a week and still can't afford to pay rent? What are you, some kind of communist? You don't like funding a genocide with your tax dollars? What are you, anti-Semitic? If you don't address the issues of the people will gravitate towards those who are addressing those issues.
That's right.
It's not Mamdani's fault he won. It's yours. It's not Nick Fuentes' fault he's popular. It's yours. The tragedy of Ben Shapiro is that he led a life worshipping the free market, only to lose in the free marketplace of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that people, and also this is another, it reveals something, is that people don't want a free market. They want a market that they can control. Why did you specifically move away from libertarian beliefs? I'm going to give you my honest answer, and it might sound stupid, is that I played World of Warcraft, and I was able to manipulate markets, manipulate systems, and take advantage of them, and do so at the expense of other people. I saw how easy it was, and I realized that I could use my resources to take advantage of other people, and then take a market that effectively had no regulation, and then create pseudo-regulation through certain behaviors and certain purchasing patterns. And because of that, I thought to myself, well, if I can do this, and I'm 16, and I'm, you know, a fucking, like, I was 17 maybe at the time, and I'm like, you know, just a kid in a video game, like, imagine what the guys that are like fucking billionaires can do that have the power of the government behind them.
Are the Democrats going to pick up the populist ball that they are fumbling? Are they actually going to get their shit together?
No.
Well, they are trying, because they have written an article called Deciding to Win.
They can never get away from identity politics, because the entire essence of the party is captured by emotion. and the emotion of the party is more important than the reality. It will never happen.
After interviewing over 300,000 American voters from both parties, they may have finally discovered the secret to winning.
To give ourselves the best chance to win, we recommend the following changes to our approach. Democrats need to 1. Focus our messaging on an economic program centered on lowering costs, growing the economy, creating jobs, and expanding the social safety net. 2. Advocate for popular economic policies. Moderate our positions where our agenda is unpopular, including on issues like immigration, public safety, energy.
That sounds like what a Nazi would say. I'm sure this is going to go over really well.
So basically, it took you guys 10 years, millions of dollars, and dozens of Microsoft team meetings to come to the conclusion that everyone has been saying forever. You wasted a decade worshiping at the altar of mentally ill Karens, and now you're acting like, hey, what if we were normal? Is a groundbreaking political discovery.
It won't work. I don't think it'll work anytime soon. No, I just don't. Because it's just, I think that they're infected. They're completely infected. It's not going to go away. Because where are all those people going to go?
I could have told you all this for free. It is a bad sign that it took you over a decade to come to the same conclusion that my audience has come to like a decade ago.
Yeah.
And they're all retarded. Please reflect on this, I beg of you. Also, what do you mean you had unpopular positions on public safety? Like, why would you even say that out loud? Yeah, let's vote for the party that admits it was wrong about the issue of crackheads shanking people in the street.
Well, it's the reason why is because, again, they're captured by emotional Karens. That is the essence of the party. That's always what it will be.
I love this quote from Nancy Pelosi randomly shoved in here.
Winning an election is a decision. You make a decision to win. And then you make every decision in favor of winning.
And you know what? That bitch was in power for 40 years. You should listen to her. If she, dude, she knew what she was doing.
How thought-provoking. Thank you, Nancy. What would we do without you?
Democrats have changed our focus. In comparison with the Democratic Party of 2012...
By the way, I love how they're saying this. Do you know whenever Occupy Wall Street happened? 2012.
Today's Democratic Party is more focused on issues like climate change, democracy, abortion, and identity and cultural concerns.
Embarrassing.
And less focused on the economy
Coney was 2012 too. I forgot about that.
The table below shows this shift. Through an analysis of the prevalence of selected words in the 2024 Democratic Party platform in comparison with the 2012 Democratic Party platform.
This whole study is really interesting, but I need you guys to see this chart because when I first saw this, the scream I screamed. So Democrats since 2012 have increased their rhetoric on race by, sit down, 1,137%.
There's no way it's that low. I feel like it's at least into like the 6,000s, maybe even approaching the 10,000%. Yeah, I think that's pretty low, guys. Let's be real.
On the gays, 1,044%. Their rhetoric on men has decreased by 51%. It is now negative 51%. On fathers, negative 100%. They just...
Yeah, because they, again, the Democratic Party is full of a bunch of women that hate men.
Stop talking about that.
Yep.
Veterans, negative 31.
What a surprise.
The economy, negative 51 because nobody cares about that, right? The middle class, 79%, but I guess you can't really talk about something that is disappearing.
I do feel very good to have my own biases that I've just arrived at through literally nothing than just basically just like, yeah, I think this is the way it is. To have it confirmed by a chart. Yeah, this chart is completely accurate. Everybody knows this.
And
absolutely.
Jobs, negative 47%. It somehow gets worse. Apparently, voters trust Republicans more on the most important issues to them and trust Democrats the most on the least important issues to them. Like, they literally care the least about LGBT, but trust Democrats the most with it. The most
Yep, that's right. Because it's virtue signaling. Wow, what a surprise. The graph shows it.
Popular Democratic
Imagine observing reality, yes.
Voters are things like lowering drug prices, banning stock trading, expanding Medicare, and raising the minimum wage. While the most unpopular Democratic policies are things like abolishing the police, providing free healthcare to illegal immigrants, and affirmative action. You're telling me this for the first time. The Democrats...
What? No way!
Here is some advice for free. You can't just be MAGA Light. Why would people drink Mr. Pibb when Dr. Pepper is right there? You know what I'm saying? You gotta bring something different, something better to the table. And that difference should be working class focused economic populism. I don't just want 2 neocon parties, okay? But all of this is pointless when it's clear the Dems are not changing at all. They're just gonna change their messaging. They're putting pretty wrapping paper and a bow on a big fat smelly turd. There is a chance that the Democrats may win based entirely on Orange Man bad. Again.
I don't even think it's that. I think that people, as I said, things get worse, then they vote for another party. Things get worse, they vote for the other party, and this happens infinitely. That's the real reason, is that ultimately people keep voting for something different because they keep hoping that a change will happen. But a change doesn't happen, and things just get slowly worse. That's it.
Which means they might get into office by learning absolutely fucking nothing.
Yep.
Again. Then the voters will go, oh my god, nothing has changed, and then they'll vote for a Republican. American politics is just a revolving door of villains, isn't it?
Yep.
Rest assured, whoever wins, we lose. If you're actually gonna do this shit, if you're actually gonna do what you're saying in this little article, you better be going whole hog, not just a tip. I'm talking embracing shoe-socialism.
What's this? Oh, she used to have this
For many years, I have been smeared as many things. No. Grifter, flip-flopper, fence-sitter, racist, sexist, homophobic. But I am not a grifter, flip-flopper, or a fence-sitter. I'm simply living in 2055. You see, America has been a hyper-capitalist, economically center-right, socially center-left country since about the mid-century. And I know libertarians in my audience are gonna be like, it's not capitalism, it's cronyism. Okay, whatever the f you wanna call it, it sucks, okay? So what if instead, and hear me out, what if instead we were a more people-focused, community-focused, working-class-focused, economically left, socially right country? All the data shows more people fall into that quadrant, the populist quadrant, the shoe-socialist quadrant, if you will, than the current system we are in today. If a shoe-socialist party existed, it would be incredibly popular.
Of course.
But it doesn't exist. And that's probably by design, honestly. The Social Democrat Party of Denmark has passed many progressive policies that liberals in America would only dream of. Protection from rent hikes, free college and healthcare, carbon taxes, and a very strong welfare system. But the Social Democrat Party also believes in a strict immigration policy. They believe that if immigration is too fast or chaotic, it puts pressure on working class communities, weakens social unity, and makes it harder to maintain their strong welfare system. Wow.
No shit, fucking obviously. Well, the reason why is because they're stupid and they shouldn't be allowed to vote. That's the big problem, is that the reason why politics will never get better is because it's catered to the lowest common denominator. And because you have people that are really dumb, you have to curate everything that you do and everything you say around those really dumb people. So to the extent that you let retards vote, your policies have to be retarded.
I feel like so many people nowadays are like terminally left-right brain to the point where like they look at issues and that solution makes sense to me. I believe that. I agree with that. They instead go, that's the left-wing solution, therefore I will believe in that. And it's so stupid and hyper-partisan and makes absolutely no sense to me. And that's
it doesn't make sense to you because maybe you're maybe above like room temperature IQ. But if you're not, which, I mean, you know, think of the average person, think about how dumb they are and realize half the people are dumber than that. You know, very popular quote. And I think it's from George Carlin. And I think that's really the truth. The majority of people that are really dumb are voting and making decisions like this. They don't know anything. They don't think about anything.
I think like a lot of left-right brain hyper-partisan people don't understand me or people like me. Yeah. That's why they call me a centrist or fence-sitter or flip-flopper or whatever. Household. And it's like, no, I'm not a fence-sitter. I have many strong opinions. You just don't like them. And no, I'm not a flip-flopper just because you don't understand the concept of having opinions that don't perfectly fall on the arbitrary, always changing left-right axis.
The poor would be screwed.
American circus politics.
You say the poor people would be screwed if the rich people were the only ones, that people that owned land could vote. I think the poor people are screwed now. And I think that the poor people are so stupid that they end up voting for things that are against their best interests constantly. And they vote for things that make things worse for them, make their lives awful. They already are. Because, you see, a lot of these poor people Some of them are poor because they're stupid. Some of them are stupid because of lack of education. There's like a degree of like a, a domino effect here. But a lot of these people are dumb. Like they are. And I understand this isn't a politically correct thing to say, but it's true. And the truth is that they're easy to manipulate. They're easy to take advantage of. And that's what's happened, is that they've been taken advantage of constantly. And you will never get them to understand that they've been taken advantage of. And so really, I mean, those people will always be manipulated against their own best interests. You can never educate, inform, or teach them to not behave that way because they're not capable of it. That's it. They're just not capable of it. That's it. As simple souls, yeah, I guess you could say that, right? And so really, if you think things are bad for them, if that happened, I think things are bad for them right now.
I feel like so many people nowadays are like terminally left-right brain to the point where like they look at issues and it's ticks. There's nothing incoherent about my beliefs on paper. None of them contradict one another. I don't understand. She likes free healthcare but doesn't want to chemically castrate children? What? She believes in workers' rights but wants a stricter border? I don't get it. Like, where is the contradiction? I'm basically just Bernie Sanders before he got his spine surgically removed by the DNC. In conclusion, MAGA and the Republican Party embracing populism is what made them so popular in the first place. But if the Republican Party's answer to all these issues young people are having is, F you, just move, you're not talented, maybe you'll own a home when you're 70 years old, they're doomed. Like they had a small, brief fling with populism and ghosted it. Just pumped and dumped. Like a fat whore they're ashamed of and won't bring out on dates in public.
As I'm editing this, Trump and Mamdani had a meeting together and it was very interesting.
It was great.
We were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea. When he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. I would feel very, very comfortable.
Top second meeting is here. Yes,
and I think much more so after the meeting. We agree on a lot more than I would have thought.
I'm sorry, this is my new favorite problematic Yowie ship. They love each other. Maybe it's not over, folks. Maybe the power of friendship and populism will save us all.
Listen, I want my kids to grow up in a safe and affordable world where they can get jobs and they can start a family and then they can have the same for their kids. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's what most people want, left and right. They just have different ideas on how to get there. It just so happens my ideas happen to be the correct ones. And if you disagree with them, you will be sent to the re-education camp. Do you want one? Do you want a noogie? Pledge your allegiance.
See, by the way, you can see this was McDonald's. Like, this is how deep into the game that I am. I can just look at one nugget from, like, one frame, and I instantly know what fast food restaurant it comes from. I can do that to Burger King. I can do that to Wendy's. I can do that to McDonald's. I can do that to any fast food restaurant there is.
To Shoesalism, and you get a nuggie. So that was that little video. If you liked it, please subscribe for more. And if you want to help support the channel, donate to my Patreon, link down below. All patrons get every single video uncensored a day early. If you can't or don't want to support me on Patreon, that's fine.
Wow.
I don't care. I didn't want you to anyway.
It was a good video.
Okay, I will see you guys soon with a fun slop video, just in time for Christmas. Bye!
Yeah, it was a good video. Like, I pretty much agree with everything she's saying. I do. But I think that she's right. And really, the reason why I think Trump and a lot of those, like, MAGA people have lost support is because they didn't do what they said they were going to do, right? It's pretty fucking simple. You vote for somebody, and they say they're going to change things, and then they change their mind. Well, fuck that. I mean, it's really not that complicated, is it? I feel like it's very, very obvious. So